But first tonight, that big exclusive that we've been promising you, the big breaking story at the moment. An India Today undercover investigation has exposed the Gau Rakshaks, or the cow vigilantes, who are caught on camera bragging about their violent methods in the guise of saving and protecting the cow, how they target cow transporters. The Gau Rakshaks are caught on camera claiming they are trained to break bones, but without killing their victims. The vigilantes say that they inflict internal injuries and therefore no cases are registered against them. Listen in tonight to this special investigation carried out here on India Today.
Waylaid, dragged, whipped with belts, hit with iron rods. Pehlu Khan dies 3 days later. But this 55-year-old dairy farmer is not the only victim of the vigilante justice. At least 6 people have reportedly been killed and more than 24 injured in a series of attacks by self-styled cow protectors across the country since 2015. So if you still thought that all such assaults are spontaneous, watch this India Today special investigation into the dark world of these self-styled Gau Rakshaks. The vigilantes you see on your screens are not linked to the murderous assault on Pehlu Khan or his companions, but they are caught on our cameras describing their brutal methods, the violence they unleash on our streets and highways. Nagendra Kumar is a spokesperson for the Rashtriya Gau Rakshak Dal. Hear him boast of how vigilantes are trained to execute near-fatal attacks on their potential targets.
हमारा एक मकसद है, जब भी लड़के निकलो तो कनपट्टी के बरोबर के अपने डंडे लेके चलो। जब वो तुम्हें नहीं छोड़ा तो तुम भी उसे कम से कम उसे टांगे तो तोड़ ही दो, जो जीवन भर में उठे ना। और अलीगढ़ टीम हमारी अधिकांश ये करती है। अलीगढ़ से राजस्थान से जो आते हैं, अलीगढ़ से निकलती है ना गाड़ी। अगर उनके हाथ से लग गए तो हमारा सिस्टम क्या है, हमें पता चल जाती है, अपने सूत्रों से पता चलती है। देखो सब सूत्र होते हैं। मार कौन सी देते हो आप, ये बता दो। पिटने वाली में मार ऐसी देते हैं, उस टाइम उसे पता नहीं चलेगी, पर 2 महीने के बाद उसे पता चलना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो जो कनपट्टी वाले जो डंडे होते हैं, मानना नहीं है भाई साहब, बड़े आपके खून भी नहीं निकालेंगे पूरे शरीर पर। अगर खून निकल गया तो मारी खाएगी आपके, खून नहीं निकलना चाहिए और मारी भी बरोबर लगनी चाहिए। अच्छा, यही ट्रेनिंग होती है। पर मेन पॉइंट जो आपका था, उसका होता क्या है, मेन पॉइंट यही होता है कि उसके पास 2 ऑप्शन होते हैं, भागना या पीटेंगे ऐसा, खून आपको निकलने नहीं देंगे। पर ये गारंटी हमारी है कि 2 महीने के बाद आप चल नहीं पाओ। मुकदमा कब नहीं लगेगा, मुकदमा तो जब ही नहीं लगेगा अगर मैंने आपको चौका मारा, खून निकला, तो कम से कम खून निकलने का मुकदमा मारा ना, तो मुकदमा तो लगना है, जरूर लगेगा। भाई हम गारंटी से कह सकते हैं कि राष्ट्रीय गौ रक्षा दल के पूरे 6 राज्यों में आप एक सदस्य पे भी मुकदमा, 2 ऑप्शन होते हैं, भागना या पिटना।
So you heard cow vigilantes are taught to attack ferociously, but without causing external injuries to their victims in order to dodge prosecution. Pushpendra Sharma, state president of the Gau Rakshak Dal in Uttar Pradesh, follows the same tactics.
जिसमें तुमने हाथ पैर तोड़े हो, उसके कैसे मार, मतलब चोट कैसे मारते हो उनके, ये पूछ रहा हूँ मैं।
चोट गुम चोट देते हैं,
वही तो पूछो कि खून ना निकले, किस तरह
गुम चोट।
असलियों के अंदर
असली टूटे, सालों गए, टांगे टूटे, हड्डी चीजें ऐसी ना कहता खोपड़े फाड़ दिया मर गया,
वो मत कर।
वो नहीं, उससे भी हमारा कार्यकर्ता अंदर चले जाएंगे क्या बात है।
In public, Sharma advertises himself as a protector of cows. In private, he admits his squads are highway robbers of the sacred animals.
कार्यकर्ता ने हमारे ट्रक पकड़ा, 20 गाय, तो उनके आसपास के जितने कार्यकर्ता हैं वो उनमें वितरित कर दिया। ऐसा नहीं कि वहां से गाय है,
वो वही की वही अपने आपस में,
वो रिकॉर्ड उनके पास है।
Now we travel to Haryana and meet this man, Acharya Sarvamitra Arya, a senior leader of the state's Gau Rakshaks Dal. Listen in to how his gang ambushes livestock trucks.
हमारे लड़के आगे से रास्ता ब्लॉक करवा रहे हैं, वो आंखों चाहिए तो उसको घेर लेते हैं, फिर वो देखते हैं भी आगे रास्ता ब्लॉक है तो गाड़ी को चलती को छोड़ देते हैं, वही गाड़ी कहीं भी जाओ, और जल्दी से कूद के भाग जाते हैं। बिल्कुल मजबूत तो हमारे पास लगभग 3000 तो लड़के बिल्कुल मजबूत हैं।
जो मतलब मार पिटाई में मजबूत हो, ऐसे नहीं कमजोर टाइप, मतलब पता चला कि भाई उनसे पिट जाए या जो। हाँ,
पिटने वाला एक भी नहीं,
पीट के आएंगे।
हाँ, वो पीट पाएंगे तो मेवात में ले चलो। तो
नहीं तो ये लड़के जो हैं ये जब मारते हैं उनको तो कैसी चोट मारते हैं, ऐसी तो खून निकले या कैसी चोट मारते हैं?
नहीं, खून लिखने वाली नहीं मारते, तो जैसे मुक्का मार दिया, लात मार दी, कोनी मार दी, या कोई छोटा मोटा डंडा है तो भी 7 लोग यहाँ पैरों को मार।
कोनियों से मतलब? हाँ, अंदर गुम चोट लगे।
गुम चोट। हमारा लड़का कोई भी ऐसा किसी को कोई वो नहीं, सख्त निर्देशी है कि भी ऐसी चोट कोई नहीं मारा जिससे खून आए या उसकी मृत्यु। गुम चोट मार,
अंदर से टूट जाए, वो
अंदर से टूट जाए, कोई बात
नहीं। Intolerance in the name of cow protection is turning increasingly lethal. High time authorities crack down on this lynch mob mentality before it becomes an epidemic. With Syed Masroor Hassan, this is Muhammad Hizbullah for India Today's Special Investigation Team.
Operation Cow Vigilantes. They are now caught on camera, those chilling confessions about how they fracture bones, muscles, legs, but will not kill people, will injure them. I'm going to ask questions tonight. Will the government act against the cow vigilantes caught on camera? Who will now rein in the Gau Rakshaks is the big question. Why are state governments giving cow vigilantes a free run, particularly in BJP-ruled states? Why are states not acting on the Prime Minister's warning to Gau Rakshaks? Is it time that there is a ban on these Gau Rakshak groups? Joining me now is Vikram Singh. He is, of course, the former DG of police here in Uttar Pradesh. Also joining me is Pawan Khera, spokesperson of the Congress, Syed Zafar Islam, national spokesperson BJP, and Shriraj Nair, spokesperson Vishwa Hindu Parishad. I want to come to you, Mr. Shriraj Nair, because you have come on my program in the past defending Gau Rakshaks, saying they are not criminals, saying that we are exaggerating the problem, that we are telling a lie. Today, sir, the confessions show that the Gau Rakshaks are even more dangerous than what we imagined in a television studio. Here we have Pushpendra Sharma, the president of the Gau Rakshak Dal in Uttar Pradesh, saying, we fracture the bones, muscles and legs of people. We don't hit on the head and rip it apart. If we did that, our activists would be arrested. Today, are you willing to admit that many Gau Rakshaks are actually criminals in disguise?
Well, Rajiv, you're putting words in my mouth. Last time I never justified the criminal acts. If you remember my last talk on your show, I categorically said we never advise our cadres. I am representing Vishwa Hindu Parishad and you can say Bajrang Dal. At the same time, I repeatedly say we never advise our cadres to take law in hand.
These Gau Rakshak groups are
what I said
aligned
last
to
time
you.
is,
Mr. Nair, please now do not try and create this. Do not try and create this fiction that these groups work completely in isolation from groups like the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Let's now call a spade a spade. These are criminals. They have been caught on camera.
Rajdeep, if you're they may be caught on camera, but how do you say that these people have any association with us? We categorically deny. We don't teach our cadres to take law in hand. At the same time, our cadres are trained enough to inform the police. We are strictly against taking law in hands.
Mr.
But
Nair,
at the same time, we are duty bound and
you keep saying you will not take law into your own hands.
We are duty bound and determined.
We have seen what has happened, sir. You know what the Bajrang Dal's role in the past in violent acts is no secret. Please do not claim that you are completely above the law.
Let me complete. Yes. Alwar, Rajiv, you don't want to believe the Home Minister of Rajasthan. You don't want to believe the police officer who is investigating the case.
I believe what I am now seeing on camera. I believe what I am now seeing on camera.
Rajiv, they are
on camera. Look at the statements. Please look at the statements you are making.
Has given judicial custody The judiciary has given judicial custody to the smugglers.
Nagendra Kumar.
Why don't you conduct a show where you call? See, why don't you call people, this Maulvis, this butchers who are taking themselves law in hand? They are not abiding. Why? There should be a strict ban on cow slaughter.
1 minute.
Transportation of cows.
1 minute, Mr. Nair, 1 minute. Mr. Nair, you've had your say. Let us not mix issues.
This is a reaction. You are talking only of the reaction part.
This is a reaction when Nagendra Kumar, Rashtriya Gau Rakshak Dal, UP is saying, when we set out, we said, 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Has nothing to do with
1
PSP.
minute, sir. Okay, you claim they have nothing to do. They are all Indian citizens.
Yeah.
Indian citizens are using lathis. Yeah. He says we carry lathis matching our heights. If cattle traders don't spare you or resist, you go to at least break their legs so that they cannot walk for the rest of their lives. This is what our team in Aligarh mostly does. It is shameful what we are showing on camera.
Taking law in their hands should be punished.
I will once again play that chunk, but before that, Syed Zafarul Islam of the BJP, please respond. You're hearing what in our sting operation, these chilling confessions that have come. Is the BJP also going to now distance itself from these Gau Rakshaks and say, oh, we don't know what they're up to? And yet at the same time, you will not act sternly against them.
Rajdeep, let me make two things very clear. Anybody, be it Gau Rakshak, not Gau Rakshak, any individual who wants to take law in their hand or group of individuals who wants to take law in their hand will not be spared. I am very categorically saying.
But these people are being spared.
Bharatiya Janata Party and
Mr. Islam, you have come on TV shows. 1 minute, sir. No, sir, you come on TV shows and keep saying this. The Prime Minister says it, but see what is happening on the ground. There is a difference between your rhetoric and the reality. These Gau Rakshak groups are openly claiming that they are doing this. They are beating people. They are resorting to violent acts. They don't care about what you say on a TV show when you say they will not be spared. They have no fear because they believe this is their government. They believe that Aditya Nath is their chief minister, that Narendra Modi is their prime minister.
Rajiv, there is absolutely no truth in that. Let me take the case of Alwar. Last time we were discussing about the case in Alwar. Do you know the status of the what? How many people have been arrested? In case of Pehlu Khan, when he was killed, 7 people have already been arrested. Those who are absconding, there is a prize money which has been announced by the state government. Why don't you highlight that? And more importantly, the state administration has made it very clear. Those people who will take law in their hand, be it Gau Rakshak or no Gau Rakshak, you can't make a distinction whether the person is a Gau Rakshak, actually a Gau Rakshak, or just pretending to be a Gau Rakshak. That's why the state administration will never let us be very clear, sir.
If a cow protector turns a murderer, he must be called a murderer.
That you have exposed certain things.
1 minute, sir.
You have exposed certain things.
Let me bring in Pawan Kheda. Pawan Kheda, the BJP says, look at our post-Alwar attitude. We have arrested people. They are claiming, the BJP says no one will be spared. Just a minute, Mr. Islam. Let Pawan Kheda now respond.
Rajdeep, we are dealing with a hydra-headed monster called the RSS, which is not a registered body in itself. They have loosely connected organizations. When they commit murders, these people withdraw. No, we have nothing to do with them. We just took them to Ayodhya. We didn't know they'll go and demolish the mosque. We just asked them to save the cow. We didn't know they'll go and kill someone. What rubbish is this? That's the way they are. That's the way they are. Now, you can't just... The Prime Minister will come up with another round of platitudes. And then we'll all sing paeans about him. Oh, look, the Prime Minister is saying these Gau Rakshaks are not... We are dealing with a state of affairs where the state has outsourced all these activities to non-state actors controlled by Nagpur. It's an accusation which is absolutely backed by facts now.
No, look at what happened in Dadri.
You know what happened? The Union Minister of India went there when Ravi Sisodia died. Rajdeep, let me finish. Let me finish. Let them arrest. I'll tell you what they did with Ravi Sisodia. I'll tell you what they did with Ravi Sisodia. The killer of Akhlaq, when he died, Mahesh Sharma went there to visit his family. His body was wrapped in the tricolor. This is what they do with the so-called Gau Rakshaks, who first they say they have nothing to do with them. Why on earth did the Union Minister go there to attend his funeral? Why on earth his body was wrapped in a tricolor? There are no answers coming. And I don't believe a word of what the Prime Minister has to say or what these leaders are sitting here. They are shameless creatures who are sitting on your channel right now.
One minute.
They still have the temerity to defend.
A member of parliament from that particular constituency.
Yeah, but he cannot wrap the flag surely in a tricolor, sir. He cannot wrap the body in a tricolor.
He'll go and attend the funeral of a killer of Akhlaq. He never went to Akhlaq's funeral.
No, you are asking that why did a cabinet minister or minister went there for his funeral? You must know that he is a member of parliament from that constituency itself. It is his right to go there.
1 minute. This is, please switch off the mics. Please switch off the mics because we have to, we cannot have cross-talk. I know it's an emotive issue, but we cannot have cross-talk. The fact is, chilling confessions today have been caught on camera. Before I come to my police officer, Vikram Singh ji, I want to play out once again what Nagendra Kumar, who claims self-styled president of the Gau Rakshaks Sabha of UP, has to say in this sting operation. Listen in once again to his chilling confession.
हमारा एक मकसद है, जब भी लड़के निकलो तो कनपटी के बरोबर के अपने डंडे लेके चलो। जब वो तुम्हें नहीं छोड़ा तो तुम भी उसे कम से कम उसे टांगे तो तोड़ी दो जो जीवन भर में उठे ना। और अलीगढ़ टीम हमारी अधिकांश ये करती है। अलीगढ़ से राजस्थान जो आते हैं अलीगढ़ से निकलती है ना गाड़ी। अगर उनके हाथ से लग गए तो हमारा सिस्टम क्या है? हमें पता चल जाती है, अपने सूत्रों से पता चलती है। देखो सब सूत्र होते हैं। मार कौन सी देते हो आप ये बता दो। पिटने वाली में मार ऐसी देते हैं, उस टाइम उसे पता नहीं चलेगी, पर 2 महीने के बाद उसे पता चलना चाहिए। क्योंकि वो जो कनपट्टी वाले जो डंडे होते हैं, मानना नहीं है भाई साहब, बड़े आपके खून भी नहीं निकालेंगे पूरे शरीर में। अगर खून निकल गया फिर मारी खाएगी आपके। खून नहीं निकलना चाहिए और मारी बरोबर लगनी चाहिए। अच्छा, यही ट्रेनिंग होती है। पर मेन पॉइंट जो आपका था उसका होता क्या है? मेन पॉइंट यही होता है कि उसके पास 2 ऑप्शन होते हैं, भागना या पीटेंगे ऐसा, खून आपको निकलने नहीं देंगे। पर ये गारंटी हमारी है कि 2 महीने के बाद आप चल नहीं पाओ। मुकदमा कब नहीं लगेगा? मुकदमा तो जब ही नहीं लगेगा अगर मैंने आपको चौका मारा, खून निकला, तो कम से कम खून निकलने का मुकदमा मारा ना, तो मुकदमा तो लगना है, जरूर लगेगा। भाई हम गारंटी से कह सकते हैं कि राष्ट्रीय गौ रक्षा दल के पूरे 6 राज्यों में आप एक सदस्य पे भी मुकदमा।
You heard that, Vikram Singh. Your response to what are you shocked that this is happening in a state like Uttar Pradesh or not surprised?
Mr. Rajdeep, shock would be an understatement. This level of insidious planning at the level of Gau Rakshaks, I would say that you very rightly said there should not be compartmentalization of criminals. You are a criminal or you are an innocent. It's not Maulvi or Gau Rakshaks.
Could this be an empty boast? Could people be boasting about it? Or do you believe this is actually happening now on the ground?
The level of planning, the level of knowledge, the level of imparting of how to beat a person to pulp through a blunt-edged weapon so there is no bleeding, yet the person is infirm for the rest of his life, goes to show the level of training and the level of knowledge he has of law as also of human anatomy.
Do you believe this has only been happening in the last couple of years, or do you believe this has been happening for a very long time, even when the Samajwadi Party government was in power or the BSP was in power? You were DG, for example, when Mayawati was in power. Do you believe this has only started in the last few years, these Gau Rakshak groups, particularly in Uttar Pradesh, or has this been building up for a while?
All along I said that there must have been something horribly wrong, but this level of insidious planning and mischief I had never imagined. I dare say, and I would hazard a guess that it has been happening for the last 4 years, if not more.
But do you believe that they are now even more empowered than ever before?
Obviously, when I choose to look the other way, you see the body language. Somewhere there is some level of complacency that nobody will look at you. That is why the brazen manner in which these training camps are being organized. Otherwise, they do not have it in them to do it in this manner.
You use the word brazenness, and I'm going to take that to you, Zafar Islam, because now I'm going to show you. You claim that in Alwar, for example, the BJP government there has acted swiftly, arrested people. Yes, they have. But look at what happened yesterday there. When one of their accused was released, he was given a hero's welcome. And the police was escorting him, and many locals, we are told, who were linked to the BJP were there as part of this celebration and were looking at him as a hero. This is why I ask you, is there some kind of a strange fiction that's being carried about that you have nothing to do with them, but yet you support their general activities of cow protection and then treat them as heroes?
Rajdeep, cow protection is something which definitely we advocate. The BJP advocates, there is no second thought about it. But taking law in their hand in the name of protecting cow is something which we're definitely untied to that idea.
But then why at the local level are you treating them as heroes?
From the jail,
he was called a freedom fighter like Bhagat Singh. This is what you call the Gau Rakshaks who was accused in this case. This is how it is being done at the local level.
No,
this is the difference between a Delhi studio and what is happening on the ground in states like Rajasthan, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, where there are BJP governments. Why are Gau Rakshaks not on the loose in states where the BJP is not in power? Why is this mainly happening in BJP ruled states now?
No, Rajiv, let me ask you this question. You have problem with people welcoming that guy, or you have problem when people take law in their hand? I'm sure you have problem when people take a law in their hand and the law.
For me, he's a criminal. He's no Bhagat Singh, for God's sake.
Against them.
The man is not Bhagat Singh. He's a criminal.
Not somebody being welcomed. Because that's the individual preference and the community's preference. Who they want to welcome, who they do not. As long as they do not violate the law of the land, it should be acceptable to everyone.
You treat somebody,
I'm making this statement again. If somebody takes law in their hand, nobody will be spared.
Nobody will be spared, but if the community wants to treat the same person as a hero, then so be it. This duplicity has to end. But quickly, yes, respond.
Zafar Saab, just one small point to make. In Alwar, sir, you said that the administration was very proactive. I would just like to point out that the rewards were announced after considerable delay. Number two, no action has not been taken against the delinquent police officers who permitted a free run to the hoodlums. No action has been taken against the SHO or the delinquent police officers.
Given that and given what we are now seeing on TV, caught in this sting operation, I want to ask you, Pawan Khera, the fact is, we've got the BJP spokesperson here saying there is local community support for many of these groups. And that might well be the case. Gau Rakshaks Sabhas believe that they have a lot of local support. Cow protection is an emotive issue in large parts of North India in particular. How then does the Congress intend to combat this? How do you deal with this?
Rajdeep, this cannot happen without patronage from top. Local support can be whipped up. I'm not saying cow is not an emotive issue, it is. But this kind of thuggery cannot happen without
patronage. The Prime Minister has made a strong statement against Gau Rakshaks who are turning criminals. The Prime Minister made a strong statement. What more do you want the Prime Minister to do?
Rajdeep, you may have faith in what the Prime Minister said. I am sorry. You may have faith in what the Prime Minister says. I have lost every single iota of faith in what he says if it still continues. Why didn't he remove the Home Minister of Rajasthan who had the cheek to come on television and justify what was happening in Alwar? Was any action taken against Sangeet Som? Was any action taken against Mahesh Sharma, the Union Minister, in his cabinet? Show me one action the Prime Minister took against these so-called people who are patronizing these cow protectors.
You know that there is a point there, Zafar. Islam. There is a point in what Pawan Khera says that the time has come that the Prime Minister distances himself firmly from these groups. The fact is that a Sangeet Som, accused of communalizing the atmosphere in Muzaffarnagar, accused of incendiary videos, is made a minister. What message is then sent out? Unless such people who patronize Gau Rakshaks or are basically seen as anti-Muslim thugs, and I'm using this word very, very carefully, anti-Muslim thugs, because deep down inside, even in Alwar, there was a Hindu man who was allowed to go away, who was part of the cow traders. Only the Muslims were targeted. Why is it? Why is it that those who resort to such, who endorse such activities are made ministers? Why should a Sangeet Som be a minister in the UP government? What is the message being sent out? Why is an Adityanath, for that matter, chief minister, who at one time was seen to endorse such cow protection even in the name of violence?
Rajiv, I think this propaganda is going for long. These people have done a lot for the community, for the constituency they represent. There is no animosity between Muslim and Hindus. It's all in the media and it's being propagated by some in the media.
Please.
Let me tell you one thing.
There is
Mr.
a strong
anti-Muslim,
there is a strong subliminal anti-Muslim element to these cow protection groups. If you don't believe me, let me take it to the spokesperson of the VHP. Sriraj Nair, let's be honest today. Somewhere deep down inside, there is in your organization, an organization like the Bajrang Dal in particular, an anti-Muslim bias, even more than that, a vendetta against Muslims, and that involves taking law and order into your own hands.
Before you go to him, let me ask you. Rajdeep, let me ask you this question.
Yeah, 1 minute. Let Zafar finish.
Let me ask you this question, Rajdeep.
Yes, please go ahead. What is the question you want? Yes, Mr. Islam. What is the question?
No, all I'm asking you that Ahmedabad, near Ahmedabad, last year some people were beaten. Were they Muslim? They were beaten by so-called Gau Rakshaks.
A majority of the people whom Gau Rakshaks are targeting are Muslims. A majority of the people whom Gau Rakshaks are targeting is
you are
Muslims.
talking about majority.
Let's tonight call a spade a spade.
See the. Let me tell you the reason. Let me tell you the reason. Rajdeep, understand the reason. Unless you understand the reason, you will not be able to come to the conclusion. Because Muslims are in trade of beef trade. That's why some of the victims are Muslims.
Either Muslims or Dalits.
Muslims and Dalits are in this trade.
That's right.
And that's why the victims are Muslims and
But
Dalits.
that is my point.
It is not Hindu, Muslim or Sikh or Sai.
No, because Sriraj Nair, you made your point, sir.
And those who are smuggling cow are the one who have been beaten up or killed. But we should condemn anybody taking law in their hand.
Sir, this investigation is exposing, this investigation is designed to expose the hypocrisy that is going on in TV studios and in among politicians who come on these studios and say no one will be allowed to take law into their own hands. But on camera, these people are brazenly saying that they are taking the law into their own hands and they will continue with their activities. And that's the problem, Sriraj Nair. Somewhere this has to stop. He is not, Gau Rakshak has nothing to do with VHP or Bajrang Dal. The fact is there is one large parivar which believes in this kind of politics. Let's not run. Let's call a spade a spade.
See, Rajdeep, we are duty bound to protect the cows. There is no doubt about it. And cow protection is not 3-4 year old story. It is going for centuries. I quoted last time also the uprising of 1857, the mutiny of 1857. Why did it take place? Mahatma Gandhi always spoke about cow protection, so as Vinoba Bhave.
For God's sake, don't use the name of Gandhi and please don't use the name of Gandhi and Vinoba Bhave at a time when we are exposing violence being carried out. Violence being carried out by cow protection groups.
Responsibility, Rajdeep. I am fully responsible.
Mahatma Gandhi was in support of cow protection, but he would have never said exposing tonight.
See, there has to be a total end of cow slaughter. There has to be a total end of cow slaughter, Rajdeep. The problem is when we encourage the cow slaughters and this kind of, I am also saying there are con men. There are people in the name of Gau Rakshaks. There are people who may be taking law in hands. We are also against. But at the same time, cow protection is not a story of just 1 or 2 or 4 years. We have to understand, we are against all those people. We are against all those people who are against Bharat, Bhartita, Bharatiya Sanskriti, Gau, Ganga. We are very clear.
What is this Bharatiya Sanskriti that tells that people's bones will be broken? What kind of Bharatiya Sanskriti tells that people's bones will be broken, for God's sake?
I am not advocating violence.
You don't advocate violence, but you say they will be taught a lesson. You don't advocate violence, but you say people who are engaging in cattle trade will be taught a lesson. That's the problem. That's my problem. That on the ground, this is seen as a license to kill.
The people have, see, there is an act. Rajdeep, there is an act in many states about cow transportation, cow slaughter. Let them stop all these acts. Let them stop the slaughter of cows.
Let the police do that. Let the police do that. We don't need vigilantes. This country doesn't need vigilantes. There are many more. Why don't you all fight for jobs? Why don't you all fight for real issues? Why don't you have vigilantes who talk about getting better jobs, farm suicides, better schools, better hospitals? Those issues you don't tackle. You only tackle religious issues.
Definitely.
And that is our Sanskriti.
No,
there are many other issues that you can deal with.
You have to stop. You have to stop ridiculing. You have
I'm not ridiculing it. Nobody has the right. Nobody has the right to take the life of another Indian citizen.
You have to stop. You run, Rajdeep. You run a show where you call some of the senior butchers or even some Maulvis who indirectly encourage this movement of taking cows illegally and slaughtering them. Let us have a full ban. You also contribute to this, Rajdeep.
I've heard you, sir.
You have to contribute to this, Rajdeep. Please, you understand.
Okay.
There is an end. You are only talking about the reaction. You have to put an end to an action, to the action.
You made your point.
Rajdeep.
You made your point. Vikram Singh ji, what do you recommend now? My final question to you, what do you recommend given what we have now exposed tonight? What should be done? Should there be a total ban on Gau Rakshaks? Will that help? How do you separate someone who is a genuine Gau Rakshak, if at all there is one, with these criminal gangs?
Faithful implementation of the rule of law without dilution and not looking the other way, and selective arrests. I would say whatever Mr. Nair has said, we must need to uphold by way of rule of law. And as of now, we have always been caught on the wrong foot. We need to explain. It is going horribly wrong as of now.
Zero tolerance. Enough is enough is all we can say. If these candid confessions don't lead to a proper investigation into how Gau Rakshak groups are operating, then there is something seriously wrong with the way in which the state is operating in this country at the moment. We cannot have the state machinery turning a blind eye to vigilantism of the kind that this investigation has exposed. Thank you very much for joining me on the show. To my guests, when we return, I'll be turning to Union Minister Uma Bharti, a day after she's named in the Babri demolition conspiracy charge. Welcome back. A day after Prime Minister Narendra Modi cracked down on lal battis and red beacons across the country, saying every Indian is a VIP, netas are divided. And today there was an image that perhaps reflects how the Prime Minister will need to do a lot more to end this VIP culture. There were images today in a toll plaza in Uttar Pradesh where a BJP MLA was once again showing, in this instance, his power by virtually threatening the toll plaza operators. He insisted that he would not pay the toll tax. The MLA got down from his vehicle, started thrashing the toll staffer. Soon his supporters also joined in. The MLA, Mahendra Singh, demanded that his entire convoy be allowed to pass the toll plaza without paying the toll amount. Clearly, much more needs to be done. A welcome step by the Prime Minister, but plenty more will need to be done. Welcome back. The army has ordered a court of inquiry against the major who tied a man to his jeep's bonnet as a human shield to drive through stone pelters. The court of inquiry will be headed by an officer of colonel rank. The findings to be submitted in 30 days' time. The officer is currently on leave and will soon join the probe. Soon after the incident, an FIR was lodged against the officer, even prompting Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti's intervention. But the protests continue across the state, with school and college students joining the agitation. What that means is that students in Kashmir are faced with the prospect of another summer where they may have their education interrupted. 3 days now, and several schools and colleges are closed in the valley. As part of our Get Real campaign that focuses on the real issues, we spoke to the students in the valley who are caught in this crossfire. Shujaul Haq now reports.
I have a bunch of students, a bunch of young, bright students of the valley with me who will be giving us their perspective on what is unfolding here on the ground. Saqib, you know, all of it is happening. Does that make you upset? Are you sad that...
Certainly, it does make everybody upset that this kind of situation is happening, and that too with the students. Because we have some certain things, students are immune to these things. What was happening in Degree College Pulwama, we have never seen this. Even in the case of when the militancy was in top in 90s.
You know, moving on from that point, you know, does the fact that it is affecting the education of youngsters like you know, make you sad, make you worried?
Obviously, it makes us sad because it ultimately affects our studies. I have friends from hostel, Kashmir University hostel. They have been just protesting. They are just raising their voices against violence, and they are not allowed to do so. Okay. They have been locked up. They are not allowed to move outside to bring essential commodities. Plus, we are also having our exams. They are not able to study there. So there is violence everywhere in Kashmir, and it's ultimately affecting our careers.
Absolutely. See, last year, 2016, schools, colleges were shut down for, you know, many months altogether. Don't you think that eventually it's our loss, and there is somebody who is not doing enough to make sure it doesn't happen over and over again?
No, actually I have a different belief. Of course it's our loss, but I do believe that it is our loss, but it's government. There are some agencies who want the Kashmir to burn.
That's perhaps this you know, message that one can get from it. There are issues, there are concerns, there are problems that need to be addressed, and the sense that people on the ground give out is that the political class needs to intervene. There needs to be massive political intervention at various levels. At the end of the day, it's the common man who is suffering. If these students are suffering, it's the collective loss of the entire society. In Srinagar, Shujaul Haq for India Today.
So there we have another possibility of a long summer, that the students will not be able to go to colleges and schools in Kashmir. That's the tragedy of what's happening in the turbulent valley.